Hi everyone, it's Bren here. It's been a bit of a full-on week for me. I'm pretty exhausted, so I managed to get this week's video recorded, but it was kind of done a lot quicker than I usually would spend time putting it together. I still wanted to give you an update and show you what I've been up to. I have put so many plants in the ground, and that's what I'm going to share with you now, to show you them before they fill out, and hopefully in a few months they'll look beautiful, colourful, and I'll be harvesting basket loads of food. So let's get into it now. I'm starting off today down at the very back of the garden because I really want to show you how much all of those Brassicas seedlings have grown. Compared to a couple of weeks ago where you weren't able to see them very well, they have grown quite a lot, probably doubled or tripled in size. Every day I've been coming out, checking the back of the foliage and removing all of the cabbage white butterfly eggs. You can see there's one just there, that little yellow egg on the back of this leaf. I'm standing in the very corner now just to give you a bit of an overview. I've noticed that the red cabbages in this bed have grown the most. They all seem to be pretty happy in the soil and the new raised beds that I put in this section, which I'm pleased about. It makes all my hard work worthwhile. Over here, this is where I had some amaranth and West Indian gherkins, which I pulled them out, and I've put in a few rows here of beetroots, a few heirloom varieties. Hopefully now soon I'll start seeing some little seedlings pop through the soil. And speaking of little seedlings, all of my peas are starting to come up. So over here I've got lots of these purple potted peas all along the fence line. I'm going to have to probably this week start cutting back the this vine here, which is the cucamelon. Hi Chuckies! What are you doing? These are our two new chickens that we got about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They seem to be getting on much better now, the 4 of them. And if you're new to my channel and you're not sure what that is there growing along the fence line, it's a dipper gourd. I have a few of them. You can see in there in the chicken run area. I have to get them out as well because the vine is starting to die off. And if we come around this way, over here, past the cauliflowers, onto this bed here, these are my golden podded peas, and they have all popped up as well. And I think they're growing in such a good area because this part of the garden gets full sun, and compared to other areas where I've sown some peas, these ones are doing much better, which is great to see. Leaving that area now, I'll also quickly just show you this section. I pulled out most of the plants. Over there I still have a jalapeno chili, which I really need to get out because we got a light frost this week. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was so shocked. I think it's the earliest we've ever had a frost. So I've put a lot of annuals in here. I will go through them. These all here are Johnny Jump Violas. I'm going to, with these eggplants, there's 2 in here. I'm going to leave one in and just see how it goes over winter. And with the other one, I'll dig it up and pot it up and put it in a nice warm place to try and overwinter it, and I'll plant it again in spring. I actually pulled out a lot of plants after the shock of seeing that frost. I'll go and show you them shortly. So I'll continue going through the plants. I've got a few of rainbow chard plants in here. They're the yellow stemmed ones. I've got some chrysanthemums, which I did a whole drift of them all the way to the end over there. I've got some red mustard greens in here. I've got loads of different types of kales all in this section. I've got some lobelias in here. I have some of those plants also in the raised garden beds. And primulas. I just want it to be really nice and colourful. So I've kind of planted up the front section. I need to tidy up the back section here. And once I've done that, I've got loads of foxgloves. I might put some of them in there. I think that will look nice. And I also planted up this area. I cleared it out. I had a lot of the amaranths that had self-seeded in here, and I decided I was going to put my onion crop in here this year. So I've done a whole block on this side of brown onions, and then over here I've got some red onions. They're tiny little seedlings at the moment, little strands of hair almost. I've planted them in rows, and I've tried to keep my spacing good so that I get some really nice onions this year. If I plant them too close together, I find they don't really develop as well, and they're a lot smaller, and I want these to be really nice large onions when I harvest them. If we come around this way, look at the oranges on the tree. Wow, I have been picking a few off here and there. I also did some planting here, so I've cleared this area a bit more, and I've put some primulas in there. This is actually a self-seeded tree. I've shown you that before. It's a wattle, I believe. And then around this way I put in a few more little plants. Down here I put in some rocket in here. I'm putting that there more so for the flowers when it bolts rather than to harvest it, because I love rocket flowers and I think that will look really pretty and add a bit of height here in this section. Still no sign of my sweet peas in this part, but it's probably because it's more of a semi-shaded area. They'll probably take a little bit longer to pop through the soil. But the chrysanthemums down here are doing fantastic. They grow so well in my area. I saw them for the first time in this lady's house. I think it was an open garden, and they look so beautiful. I'm trying to plant some more white flowers. Usually I go more colourful, but I think maybe this winter, spring, I'll go with some more white flowers just for a bit of a change. What you're looking at is one of our 2 apple trees. I've also planted underneath this section. So I've actually over here got a lot of self-seeded borage, which I'm leaving. That plant there is starting to flower. But I put in another row of these white chrysanthemum flowers, which I just showed you. And then behind it, they're so tiny, but I have these silver beet, which are the red stemmed silver beet. In this area I cleared it out a bit more. I'm doing a bit of clearing here every week so I don't overwhelm myself, and as I clear I plant. So I put some more little flowers along here. There's some radishes in there. They're the Spanish black radishes. I've got a story about them, I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, a train. And then behind these 2 cauliflower plants, you mightn't be able to see very well, but I've got lots more brassicas in here, which I planted. I decided to just put them in here. I've taken a couple of steps back again. So this week my neighbour's chickens got into the garden. I had only literally about a half an hour finished planting up here and sowing my radish seeds. And didn't they come in? There was 5 of them, and they start digging through the soil all here. So I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I don't know. I tried to space the seeds out, but they're all probably jumbled up now. I might get them popping up in clumps. But you know, that's just part of gardening. It's all right. And it was kind of cute to see the chickens in here. A few different breeds to what we have. And they're quite entertaining to watch as well. The pots here with the annual flowers are doing well. Got some poppies in here. They love this area because the sun, they get full sun and the house gets heated up and it keeps them nice and warm and cozy at night. And they always seem to grow really well in here. Some primulas, alyssum, more poppies, violas, you know, stuff like that. The more kind of hardy annuals are in here. I want to pot up even more. I want to do way more than I did last year. Earlier on when I showed you those eggplants, I mentioned I was going to leave one in the ground and dig one up to overwinter. Well, here are all the other plants that I've dug up. So I've got a section of capsicums, eggplants, chilies in here, and some of them are already a couple of years old. I've been successful keeping them alive overwinter in pots. Hopefully I'll have success again this year with all of these, and it just gives me a great head start with harvesting, because when I put these back in the ground in spring, I find they produce much faster than if I was to re-sow the seeds and start fresh that way. So it's worth the effort to keep these alive in winter. I'm over at the raised garden bed area. I'm gonna have to head off, unfortunately. I have to go inside and make the dinner. I feel like, you know, hopefully now next week I'll have a bit more time to show you around. But thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a safe and healthy week, and I'll see you all again next Friday.